Hi, and welcome back to another episode of Cutting Through It. I'm Sherry Brody, and I'm super happy you're here with me today. I want to have a real conversation with you today. Are you right now feeling frustrated because your business behind the chair, it's not growing as fast as you'd like? Today, I want to share with you 3 habits that I see a lot of hairstylists overlooking. But before you get defensive, and saying, "Hey, I'm doing all the things." I want you to know that I said the same thing, and I've been there too. I've been in the place where I was like felt like I was doing everything I could to get clients in the chair and to build a business, but there were some habits that when I finally put them into place, oh my gosh, I saw such a big change in the speed that my chair was building and my clientele was building. You see, I see so many hairstylists saying they want to grow, but when they have downtime, those times when you have a slow day or you don't have a client on the books or you have one client on your books, they're either like moving that client to another day or going home. Or like this is a big one, just going in the back room and sitting and just hanging out, scrolling on social media, call it doom scrolling. This is what hairstylists do. And I was this stylist at one time. We're just like waiting for the clients to magically appear in our books. And I know. You say, "Oh, I'm posting on social media. I'm telling everybody about what I do, all that kind of stuff." But what I'm going to be real with you, like I'm going to be straightforward with you on this episode that if what you're doing is when you have these slow times or you have openings on your books and you're not making the most of that time, you're leaving money on the table, and you are the reason your books are not growing as fast as they can. And this is another habit that I see a lot of hairstylists do that are keeping them from growing. Like maybe you are one of these stylists that, you're during your downtime, you're doing all this stuff, just waiting for it. But you tell me like, "Hey, wait a minute, Sherry. I'm open all the time. I work evenings, I work weekends. I'm squeezing clients in whenever someone asks because you think that being available all the time is the answer." But I want to ask you something, and I want you to really think about it. How is that working for you? Because I know that can't feel good to always be on call and not seeing the growth you want. So if your business isn't growing the way you want it to, maybe it's time to stop hoping and doing the same things you're doing and start putting in habits that teach you how to take ownership of your chair, and start putting habits together that are going to move the needle up. So I think if this is you, I think you're going to really enjoy this episode. So the first habit that I want to bring to your attention is knowing your numbers. So I want to ask you a couple questions that I really want you to think about. Do you know how much money you made last month? You might know how much you didn't make, like how much short of cash you were, things you couldn't do because you didn't have the income. Do you know how much money you need to make this month? That's the big one. Do you know how much money you need to make? Another question, do you know how much revenue is already sitting on your books? Have you looked ahead to see what is sitting on your books? But this is the thing I really want you to think about. Do you know how much money, how much more you need to bring in to make enough for you to pay your bills? So I really want you to think about this one, because this is something a lot of hairstylists don't do. They don't have a business meeting with themselves. I call this a business meeting with yourself, because every single month, if you put into place a habit, just put it in your calendar, just like when you're going to work or you have a client coming in, you schedule a certain amount of time for that appointment. Set a meeting up every month at the beginning of the month for a business meeting with yourself. And at that meeting, when you do, the things I want you to look at are, write down everything that you need to make, a total number that you need to make to make your ends meet. This is both personally and business-wise. And I'd like for you to add an extra 10% for savings and come up with that number, okay? Then I want you to look at what is already booked on your books for that month. This is something that when you're building a business, really honestly, if you don't know what your target number is, you're just kind of going at it blindly. And when we don't have a true goal in mind, then it's very easy to get sidetracked and get into the place of just the doom and gloom and down on everything. But if you have a goal of what you need to make, it makes all the difference. So when I say look at your books and you see what's already on there, then you can figure out where you're at and where you want to go. You can look at last month and kind of see, okay, this is what I made last month. Maybe you made it last month. And so your goal is to make that same number this month. So let's say you want to make, for the month, you need to make, we'll just put $4,000, okay? But you look on your books and you've got, some days that are slower than others. You're not fully booked. And when you add up the total amount of those services, if every client comes in and doesn't cancel, and it adds up to $2,500, this is where your business meeting really makes a big difference. Because you're going to look at those people on your books, and you're going to think about ways you can upsell them. Maybe that client has been wanting to have their hair colored, or maybe you can, do something to upsell them, a deep conditioner, whatever it is. Try and think about that. You can also think about ways that you can get other clients in. You can think about making the time that you have of an opening, making it be more productive. There's so many things that you can do with your open time, but first you've got to, before, I'm going to get in that a little bit deeper, in a few minutes. But my whole goal with telling you that is that honestly, if you don't know how much you need to make, then you're just kind of winging it every month. You got to have a goal in place. You need to know what you're doing, because then you have purpose. Then every day that you are going into work, you have a purpose. You have a number in mind. You have a goal that you're trying to attain. And I know for myself, when I see those gaps, I'm going to probably take a little extra time with my clients and give them an extra special treatment. Maybe I'm going to educate them on a service and talk about the products I'm using, and they're going to buy that product. I'm going to be more apt to talk to my clients about referrals, let them know, hey, I have an opening. Or if a client wants a color or a highlight, maybe you don't have the time right after that, but you do tomorrow or Thursday, and you can offer them, hey, if you come in, I have an opening. I'd love to do your highlights then. It's just you become proactive instead of just waiting for it to happen. You're doing something about it. The second habit is look at your openings differently. So this kind of brings me into the next habit I want you to think about is, I want you to look at those holes on your books or those openings. I want you to change your mindset to that they are opportunities. Before every week starts, do the same thing that you did at the beginning of your month. Look at your books. Know who's coming in. Before that week even starts, prepare your mind for who is coming in. And when you look ahead and you see that extra time, you want to ask yourself this question: how can I use that time to bring in more business? And sometimes it's not about bringing more business in for that day or that week, but you're doing things proactively that in the effect of it is going to bring somebody that doesn't even know you into your world that's going to fill those gaps for the following week. And so here are a couple things that I want to share with you that I have put in place personally that have really made the biggest difference and biggest impact on building my business quickly. So one of them is Go back into your books and look at clients that haven't been in and reach out to them that you haven't seen in a while. Reach out to them. Let them know that you're missing them. Let them know that you're going through your books and, hey, I haven't seen you. I'd love to see you again. And I happen to have some time coming available and I'd love to see you. Sometimes it's a matter of offering them something special, maybe a complimentary conditioner, something that's not going to cost you a lot, but something that is beneficial for you. I know that one thing that I did when I with my salon, when we had openings, we would offer days, we'd see that, and we would offer our clients a friend day. So if they came in and they had a friend come in and book on that same day with you, that friend got a certain discount on their service. Or I hate discounting services, so usually what I would do is, for me, haircuts, if I'm not busy to begin with, and when I'm really in the trenches of building a clientele, I'm going to offer a complimentary haircut. That's something that I will, because I'll make the most of that haircut, because I'm going to give them a great experience, so they want to rebook with me and they want to talk about me to their friends and they want to write a review. And then I'm using a lot of that the befores and afters for my social media, my website pictures, whatever, but it also gives me an opportunity to meet somebody new. So that wasn't a big deal for me to say, hey, bring a friend along and get a complimentary haircut. That's just something. I mean, you have to do what works for you, but I'm just trying to bring things to your attention that can kind of make you start brainstorming on ways that you can look at those holes in your schedule as opportunities. Next one is have you done some follow-up calls? Have you reached out to clients that you just did and asked them how their hair is doing? That is such a big deal, especially with new clients. Follow-up calls, personal calls, not text. I'm not talking about text. I'm talking about an actual phone call, letting them know you're thinking about them. Sometimes that conversation when you're talking to them might actually, give you an opportunity to invite them to send a referral, or to say, hey, we didn't get you rebooked last time. I noticed, and I just wanted to remind you, if you want to maintain this color or this haircut or whatever it is, this is the date that, around this time range, I have time available if you'd like to schedule that now. But you have to come up with your comfortable that you're comfortable talking about, but you can't be shy. You have to do these uncomfortable things, or it's just going to be a very slow grow for you. So these things might feel uncomfortable to you, but I'm going to encourage you to do them. And the first time you do something like that, that's uncomfortable. Yes, it's uncomfortable at first, but trust me, when you do it one or two times, it just becomes second nature. I mean, think about it like when you learn how to drive a car. I remember the first time I stepped behind a car, and I sat there, oh my gosh, I learned on a stick shift. So that was another story, but it was so awkward and so uncomfortable. And it took a few tries before I got kind of comfortable with it. Before you know it, I was like, oh, I've got to slow down. I was cruising around. It's the same thing with this. So don't sit in that uncomfortable place. The next thing I want to encourage you with, instead of doom scrolling, scroll with purpose. So when you're scrolling, are you just looking to be entertained, or are you actually looking for people on social media that you would love to see in your chair? And get into their handles, their page, and get into their conversations and start letting them see your face there more. Another one is, during that period of time, is to take that time and teach something. Like pull up a mannequin head or grab a coworker and film a quick tip. Teach something. Show your personality. This is huge. If you are just posting befores and afters like everyone else, what's going to make you stand out from another stylist? If you want to stand out, teach something to your potential client that they want to learn. So before you do it, like for me, when I was rebuilding, this was my biggest client builder. I still get people coming in on my posts or my how-to videos. I created how-to videos. I thought about what my ideal client, my person that I want in my chair, what were their biggest struggles? For you, think back on your services and think back, what What are some of the things my clients ask me the most? And what am I sharing with them the most? What are their biggest struggles with the most that I might share a tip on that's going to make an impact, that's going to make them see me as a confident hairstylist and get them into my world. And then say other things too is when you're doing that, you can say, hey, I have availability. I had some openings. I had a cancellation. I'd love to see you in my chair. Whatever. The stylist who grows the fastest, the hairstylists who grow the fastest, they're not spending their downtime scrolling in the back room. They're spending it building. They're spending it doing things that are going to grow their business the fastest. The third habit is preparing yourself every single day. I know that this one might sound simple, but it matters so much. It makes me crazy. Well, not as crazy as it used to be. I used to own a salon, and so I would have my clients, if they showed up to work like they just rolled out of bed, their hair wasn't done, they had no makeup, I literally would tell them to go back home and come back to work when you were prepared. I know that might sound really horrible and mean, but I was teaching them a discipline. I was teaching them a discipline that it makes a difference on how you show up every day for work. And listen, I'm not talking about being perfect or dressing like some cool hairstylist. I'm saying do your hair. Put your makeup on. We are in the beauty business. We are in the beauty business. And when a client comes in and they're dressed better and their hair looks better, they have their makeup on better, and you just look like you just kind of threw yourself together and came to work, what's going to make them trust you? You're going to have to work that much harder to build their faith and trust in you. But you know what really makes the biggest difference about putting yourself together? It's how it affects your mindset. When you feel good about the way you look before you step out the door to go to work, you show up differently for work. You show up with so much more confidence. People can feel that energy. You tend to stand a little taller. You make eye contact more with people. You carry yourself differently. Your consultations are stronger and better because you're feeling more confident. And your clients, they're more receptive to what you have to tell them because their first impression of you was one that they wanted to learn from you. People make within about within the first 3 seconds, they're forming an opinion about you. So, but the other thing that I want to share with you is that when you show up and you're dressed for success, you sell more and you retain more. And you may say, I don't sell. I'm going to tell you, you do sell. Every time you put a post on social media, anytime you post a reel, you are selling yourself. Every single time. And every day that you go to work, especially when you're building your clientele, you are selling yourself. You need to make an impression. So, my friend, if you are in that place, I know what it feels like. Maybe you have been slow for a little while. Maybe you've had some redos. And maybe you're down in the dumps. I want to turn that around for you. You have the power to change it. And it all starts in your mindset. Putting together these simple 3 habits, trust me, they will make all the difference. You will start seeing your clientele growing faster than you ever imagined. It's not going to happen in one day. But when you take small habits over a period of time, it makes more impact than one huge habit. So I'm going to encourage you, before every day starts, I want you to take a few minutes to prepare yourself, both mentally and physically. Show up as the successful hairstylist that you're trying to become. Show up as your future self. At the end of the day, growing your chair faster, it isn't usually about learning more secret strategies. It's not about all that stuff. It's about replacing passive habits with intentional ones, intentional habits. So let's recap that a little bit. The 3 habits that I want you to really think about putting in place is, number 1, know your numbers. Have a business meeting with yourself every month. That way you can set a goal and you know what your target is for the end of the month. And so each week when you have a meeting with yourself, you can see where you're at, you can see what you need to do, and you can plan for that down to every single day. Use your downtime wisely. Gosh, as tempting as it is just to sit in the back room and doom scroll, or go home and wait, or say, hey, I'm going to open my books for any time my clients want. It's not wise. Scroll with intention, and then show up with intention. Show up with intention. Show up as your future self. If you do these 3 things consistently, I promise you'll start looking at your business differently. And hey, if this resonated with you at all today, I want to share something with you. I just did a live workshop today. It's called From Empty to Fully Booked Workshop. It's a Zoom. It was a Zoom meeting, and I saved the recording. It's now on my website, On Point Hair by Sherry. You can find it there. I wanted you to have the opportunity to watch this workshop. I put it together to help give you easy strategies to start getting more clarity on how to build your chair. And in it, I share with you, there is so many different seasons we go through as hairstylists, and sometimes we're trying to do something that we're not quite ready for. So this is a workshop that I think will be really valuable for you if you really need some clarity on your next steps on how to start really building that clientele. And if that's something that interests you, head on over to On Point Hair by Sherry, and you can find it there to register. Thank you so much for listening today. It is always my prayer before every single episode that what I share with you makes a difference in your career, in your life. And I just want to thank you so much for listening. And if you found this inspiring, or something about this episode made a difference, I'd love to hear about it. You can leave me a comment or a review and let me know, or you can contact me through my website and let me know. Anyways, thanks for listening, and I'll see you in the next episode.